Good evening and welcome to News Hour Live on the Salem Broadcasting Corporation and FM Corporation. Coming up in this edition of the news, Salem observes World Rabies Day. Anti-Corruption Commission launches a report against the Ministries of Health and Agriculture salary double dipping, and the remains of referee Victor Fore laid to rest. All these stories and more lined up in this edition of News Hour. As the financial year 2019 budget discussions continue, ministries, departments and agencies, the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Information and Communications, Salem Roads Authority and the Corporate Affairs Commission have presented their 2019 budget to the Ministry of Finance. The presentation of their budget was witnessed by heads of 3 institutions at the Bank Complex, Sikintom. Auna Patikama report.
The financial year 2019 policy hearings continue, and ministries, departments and agencies are tasked by law to present their budgets every year to the Ministry of Finance, non-state actors and district budget oversight committees for discussions. According to the Deputy Financial Secretary, Ministry of Finance, Emmanuel Komba, their 76.2 billion financial year budget for 2019 includes the 53 billion loans the ministry is paying as international subscription that will qualify Sierra Leone to benefit from international funding. He highlighted key areas that the ministry will focus on the 2019 implementation.
As I talked to you, in fact, actions are now underway. Most of the things are presented. We have started working on them, implementing. Like yesterday, the financial secretary told me, please start implementing the strategic plan in the ministry we have designed. And we have started on that. And, so we have aligned, we have aligned our activities to the proposed budget we have presented to you. I'm sure by next year, when we come back here, I will tell you some success stories.
Mr. Komba said, as a ministry in charge of disbursing money to various MDAs, they are implementing their mandate in accordance with the statutory framework provided for by the Public Financial Management Act 2016 and the Public Financial Management Regulations 2018. According to the Deputy Minister of Information and Communications, Solomon Jamiru, their 6.7 billion loans 2019 budget will focus on developing national web portals on one-stop shop for government information on an e-service in line with the new direction.
Formulating and implementing the roadmap for our migration from analog to digital, looking at our broadband policy, how can we get people to access internet services, not only to ensure affordability, but also to ensure that we broaden the scope of access. So we're working with telecoms action groups, ISPs, etc., so that we look at what the critical challenges are. But the fact that now we have about 55% of the fiber, whilst we are sourcing funds to do the 45% remaining, but once we have the fiber, we want to see how service providers could benefit from this huge resource that we have.
He said they will also develop the institutional framework for the implementation of a governance system in Sierra Leone. Mr. Jamiru said the roadmap and implementation framework for the rollout national digital broadcasting platform from Sierra Leone will be developed to create the enabling environment for the uptake of ICT service for effective and efficient delivery of public service. The Director General SLRA, Memunatu Jallo, highlighted projects that the authority is going to undertake with the 374.9 billion loans in 2019. She noted they will also embark on improving on the road network through reconstruction and rehabilitation work across the country. The Chief Executive Officer and Registrar Corporate Affairs Commission, Michaela McKay, said her commission was provided with technical leadership for the drafting of the first Sierra Leone National Corporate Governance Code. She said with the 1.1 billion loans provided to them by the ministry, they will continue to do more as they are presently faced with lack of funding and human resource capacity.
The Anti-Corruption Commission has launched a report against the Ministries of Agriculture and Health and Sanitation for curbing salary double-dipping in MDA's two systems examination of personnel management. The report focuses on staff attendance, monitoring of payroll management. It was in this light the new Director General of the Human Resource Management Office, Ansu Samuel Tokar, rendered his commitment to work with the ACC on addressing those issues. National Librama report.
The Monitoring and Compliance Unit of the ACC carried out this exercise because government has been grappling with the challenge of dealing with absenteeism, ghost workers and inactive staff members from the public service payroll. These perennial problems have been costing government huge amounts of needed funds on a monthly basis. Over 2.8 billion loans ought to be recovered from the Ministries of Agriculture and Health. Director General of Human Resource Management Office, Ansu Samuel Tucker, said that HRMO would take the lead in addressing the issues raised in the ACC report as they require transparency and accountability. He affirmed that as the new DG, he will not condone such practice by MDAs and assure them to bring sanity to HRMO and ministries.
Given our strategic role in managing, in supervising, in setting policies, I think it is but fitting that HRMO should take the lead in addressing these anomalies. As you would see, this study was done before I assumed duty, but since I'm the new Director General, I'm here to take full responsibility for this report, to ensure that we address these issues, and of course, I've actually committed myself to the Anti-Corruption Commission that I'll work with them to address this issue and ensure that the issues that have been highlighted are actually laid to rest.
He underscored that these cases are going to be investigated and would ensure that those involved would face the due consequence of the law. He called for the need of harmonizing the date of birth by creating a date system that is reliable and credible. Acting Director Human Resources at the Ministry of Health and Sanitation, Emil Koroma, said the ACC failed to give the two ministries and the HRMO copies of the report before going public.
For us at the ministry, you will recall that I think a year or two ago, we conducted a payroll verification exercise as a ministry, and during which time we were able to identify well over 750 staff who were not supposed to be on the payroll. And we wrote to HRMO, and almost immediately the DG deleted their names from the payroll, and then people started coming again for reinstatement. Even with that, we had about 400 or more who did not actually turn up, which tells you that indeed there are people on the payroll who are not supposed to be there.
Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Food Security, Mohamed Brahma Dabo, stated that some of the issues raised in the ACC reports were due to misinformation and maintained that there is no staff at his ministry that is below the age of 20. He said that the DG should give them the opportunity as individual MDAs to write a report in relation to the issues raised in the ACC report.
The Deputy Chief Agriculture Officer, Sori Mohammed Kamara, has said that rabies still remains one of the world's deadliest and most neglected diseases. He was speaking at an event held at the Family Kingdom in observance of World Rabies Day, in which, on the theme, World Rabies Day is one with the theme, Be Responsible Dog Owner, Vaccinate Your Dog Annually and Save Lives. Umubaka was there in our report.
The 8th of September, which is being observed as World Rabies Day, was set aside after the death of Louis Pasteur, a French chemist, the man that made the first rabies vaccine. Sierra Leone started joining the fight 30 years ago after the first case was reported 59 years ago. Speaking at the event, the Deputy Chief Agriculture Officer, Sori Mohammed Kamara, who also doubles as the chairman of the program, said rabies is a viral disease that affects the central nervous system of humans. And statistics show that more than 50% of the people who die from rabies are children. Majority of them are in the third world countries. Representing the World Health Organization, Dr. Robert Musuki said that rabies is a vaccine-preventable viral disease which occurs in more than 150 countries, and every year over 15 million people worldwide receive a post-bite vaccine, and it is estimated to prevent hundreds of thousands of rabies bites. He added that it is a neglected tropical disease that predominantly affects poor and vulnerable people who live in remote areas or villages. A message was read on behalf of the Deputy Minister of Agriculture, which says that as a country, the disease poses a big threat to the success of the country's effort of attaining food security. Councillor Abiose Williams, who represented the mayor of the Freetown City Council, said the Freetown City Council has been working in collaboration with the Sierra Leone Animal Welfare Society to ensure the elimination of rabies is actualized in the municipality.
Freetown City Council will continue to work collaboratively with the relevant agencies, line ministries, and stakeholders to find the most effective way to protect animals in our various communities, to manage dog populations humanely instead of calling them.
But how far has Sierra Leone gone in the fight to eliminate this disease?
Rehabilitation work at the Guma Valley Water Dam has reached 50%. The work is being funded by the British Development for International Development DFID to ensure the effective functioning of the dam. Princess Gibson was with the team and now reports.
Water is life. If this maxim is to meet its real meaning, then the government needs to brace up to provide adequate safe water for consumption. Here in the metropolis, the water shortage still remains a daunting task for government. The Guma Valley Water Dam in the Western Rural Peninsula was constructed in the 60s to meet the demand of a small population in the city. Present statistics in the city has seen increase in population size, which poses current challenges for the Guma Valley Water Commune. The aging dam currently and urgently requires rehabilitation, which has prompted this project. A major component of the DFID project is to rehabilitate the valves of the dam. Guma Valley Water Project Manager Ibrahim Ba explains more.
We have successfully repaired those leaks. Now it's not leaking at all. So we are looking forward now to have a new valve installed further downstream. The valve has already been procured in another project. It's at the treatment plant to show you that valve, both the gate and the spiral valve. So basically that is what we're going to do towards the spiral valve end on the right hand side. So the intake, we have the landing structures. You know, we'll also show you at the Guma, the schematic for that. We have different intake points as the level of the dam goes down.
The Minister of Water Resources, Dr. Jonathan Tengbe, described the maintenance of the valves as timely, as it has made the city not to enjoy adequate water supply.
That valve was a major risk, and it has now been resolved by the British government, particularly the DFID managing the project, and they fixed it as they told me, and the risk is now gone. If they had not intervened to fix that valve, probably Britain would have been a desert by now, because there will be no water coming in. So but we are guaranteed water for probably, they said to me that in the next 10 years, the valve has a guarantee on it, if I'm right or wrong. But I think I'm pleased with that. And the water is full, and people were worried that there will be no spilling because of the lack of rain.
Parliamentary Oversight Committee Deputy Chairperson, Honorable Emilia Tongi, expressed concern over the level of water leakages during distribution. This, according to Engineer Ba, has been reduced by 20%. Other areas covered by the rehabilitation include the 2 major tunnels, landing intakes, and water treatment plants. Princess Gibson, SLBC News.
The Freetown City Council has provided school learning materials for 400 schools in the country. The gesture, which targeted primary and secondary schools, is aimed at supporting the government's free education. Presenting the items, the Education Officer, Freetown City Council, Reverend Joseph Cooper, said that the Freetown City Council is distributing learning materials to 400 primary and secondary schools in the country. He said that over the years, the central government has devolved its functions on service delivery to the city councils, which is why they are embarking on such a venture. He said that they will be monitoring the various schools to ensure the learning materials are used judiciously. The head teacher of the Sierra Muslim Brotherhood Primary School, Nimbana Street, Fode Tijan Kamara, commended the Freetown City Council for such a laudable venture. He said that the provision of school learning materials will help parents to save. Statistically, there are at least 93,000 people with disability in the country, according to the government. On paper, however, the reality is different because the medical board has not certified persons with disability as established by the 2011 Persons with Disability Act. Francis Danema reports.
The lack of a permanent disability certificate makes it almost impossible for persons with disabilities to claim the benefits that the government has promised in law. Persons with disabilities often report that it is difficult to access free health care and free education because of the lack of permanent disability certificates.
We went to the commissions, of course, I was rejected because the way I work, you cannot easily identify my form of disability unless when I have to remove my shoe and they take note of everything. At that time, they accepted, oh, this guy is really a disabled somebody.
Sylvain Ba is a final year student of geology department at the Forabi College. He had challenges during his university studies, and his professors did not believe that he was disabled.
That led me to go to the Connaught. I spent up to 500,000 to do scanning for me to have a medical paper for them to grant me, oh, this guy, I'm really disabled.
Mausi Dumbuya is the Outreach and Advocacy Officer of the National Commission for Persons with Disability.
The Disability Act, Section 7A, which is under the power of the Commission, and it says that in line with the ministry that is responsible for health, the Commission should liaise with the Ministry of Health to ensure that persons with disability are certified.
While some disabilities are more prominent and easy to see, such as amputated limbs, others are less obvious and can only be diagnosed and certified by a doctor. Salema Tulaga is a field officer of One Family People, OFP. Part of her job is to take people with speech and hearing impairment to the hospital. She took Ramatu Kamara, who suffers from hearing and speech impairment, to the Connaught Hospital. After explaining to the medical staff that Ramatu was disabled, she finally received free health care. The president, Sierra Leone Union on Disability Issues, Santigi Kagbo, said more than 30 students with disabilities are finding it difficult to attend classes because they have no document to prove their disabilities.
It's about over 30 of them who are in college, tertiary institutions, who are and taking this examination and are not being allowed to take the examination, or even during lectures are being driven out for lectures.
The chairman of the Sierra Leone's medical board, Dr. Jibrila Fadluddin, said in an audio interview that the board is ready to certify persons with disabilities. He encouraged the Commission and other persons with disability organizations to work out the criteria of certification and meet immediately to find a solution. SLBC News, Francis Ndanema reporting.
The remains of referee Victor Fore Mara have been laid to rest at the Kisi Road Cemetery. Mara died on Tuesday after collapsing whilst officiating a match between Falcon 12 and Kube community at the Kintom playing field. According to reports, referee Mara is the first in Sierra Leone to have died while officiating a match.
Referee Victor Fore Mara was a household name in Sierra Leone football and was a member of the Western Area Football Referees Association. The 27-year-old was in Cairo, Egypt a month ago, where he attended a refereeing training course for promising referees across Africa, organized by Confederation of African Football, CAF. He met his sudden demise after he collapsed whilst officiating a match between Falcon 12 and Kube football teams in the ongoing Kintom Football Association Marquee International Online Betting Football Competition. Prayers were offered for him at Masjid As-Salam at Hebron State, east end of Freetown, before his remains were taken to the Kisi Road Cemetery. Minister of Sport Ibrahim Yelenke was at the funeral service. According to him, the sudden demise of Mara, whom he considered as a hero in Sierra Leone's football, was a shock to the football family in the country.
You know, it's a shock. His demise, really, I think, is a day of reckoning we have to remember, because he's a great guy. I can refer to him as a hero because he has served his country judiciously. Maybe he might have one or the other way hurt somebody in the pitch of play, but what I want to establish here is everyone to just pray for him so that God can grant him Arjano.
Technical Director at the Sierra Leone Football Association, John Jebo-Sherrington, also noted with a broken heart the passing away of Mara, whom he described as a promising referee. He said that his outstanding performance in officiating matches was incredible. The remains of referee Victor Mara has been laid to rest, with thousands of sport-loving fans paying their last respect to the late man. He will be sadly missed by the football family in Sierra Leone. Esther Marie Samuel reporting from the Kisi Road Cemetery in Freetown.
Sierra Leone is joining other countries in Africa to observe Amnesty Month. Amnesty Month is set aside to give individuals who are in possession of illegal weapons the opportunity to voluntarily surrender them without fear of arrest or prosecution. The African Union in 2017 declared September as Amnesty Month. To observe the month, the Sierra Leone Action Network on Small Arms and the Sierra Leone National Commission on Small Arms engaged blacksmiths on alternative sources of livelihood for them to avoid arms production. Doreen Barry reports.
The Union declared the month of September as Amnesty Month. This is to give persons illegally possessing weapons to surrender them without fear of arrest or prosecution. This is to achieve the African Union 2020 vision of ending armed conflict on the continent. It is against this background that the Sierra Leone Network on Small Arms conducted a survey which has shown that the number of blacksmiths in the country is increasing. According to their findings, the country at present has over 4,000 blacksmiths, and that 200 of them are producing guns that are normally used by hunters but can also harm and even kill humans. Coordinator, Sierra Leone Actions Network on Small Arms, Adenike Cole, said this year's month of amnesty focuses on identifying alternative livelihoods for blacksmiths. She said that they are working with the Small Arms Commission in achieving the African Vision 2020, which is to ensure all arms conflicts in Africa are ended. She encouraged blacksmiths who want to continue with their trade to obtain license from the Sierra Leone National Commission on Small Arms. Program Officer, National Small Arms Commission, Winfred Samuel Taylor, spoke about punitive measures that would be taken against people who will be caught illegally proposing small arms and light weapons. Goldsmith welcomed the idea of the Sierra Leone Action Network on Small Arms for the initiative to providing alternative livelihoods for them.
Jennifer Sako Wajai is a Sierra Leonean model based in USA. Jennifer was born in Sierra Leone during the war, and at the age of 10, she was taken to America. She is representing Sierra Leone in this year's Miss Africa USA 2018 that will be held in Los Angeles on the 10th of November 2018. Our entertainment producer Mohammed King Milan Bangura sent in this report.
This not a time we all come together.
Jennifer Sakowaja, who is popularly known as Miss J, is a Sierra Leonean model based in Iowa, USA. Jennifer was born in Sierra Leone during the war. At the age of 10, she was taken to America and placed in a foster home. At the foster home, she went through a lot of physical and emotional abuses, but that didn't break her spirit to pursue a dream. Now she's pursuing a degree in business administration, focusing on entrepreneurship in the University of Iowa. In 2012, she competed for the Miss Africa Iowa Pageant 2012, representing Sierra Leone, and emerged the winner. That was the starting point for her modeling career.
I started doing pageantry at the age of 17, and through that I got into modeling, and of which I am signed by a model agency here in Iowa as a print model. So I've been modeling for the past 4 to 5 years now.
In 2013, she competed for the Miss USA 2013, and she became the third runner-up. That gave her a worldwide media attention. Now she's representing Sierra Leone in this year's Miss Africa 2018 that will be held in Los Angeles on the 10th of November. Why competing in this pageantry?
My main purpose, taking on to this journey, competing in Miss Africa America, is to advocate for youth empowerment in Sierra Leone.
Jennifer is the CEO of Jack's Fantasy and Future Star, a non-profitable organization that is geared to nurturing African youth and showcasing their talent. She promised to do a lot in helping our youth in the country and hopes to work with the Ministry of Tourism and Culture.
I plan to travel to Sierra Leone to meet with the Ministry of Youth Affairs for us to join hands and work towards youth development in Sierra Leone in regards to my platform.
All ears and eyes will be focused on our Sierra Leonean sister on the 10th of November in Los Angeles, USA for the Miss Africa, as the green, white and blue flag will be flown high on that day as she clinches that crown. But for that to happen, she needs the support of Sierra Leoneans at home and abroad.
As of right now, I'm seeking for support from every Sierra Leonean out there. There's an online voting going on for the People's Choice. And I would love to win this segment in this pageant competition because it's a huge portion towards my pageant score. You can follow me on Facebook, Miss Sierra Leone for Miss Africa America Pageant, or you can send me a friend request on Facebook, Janeba Wanja.
To end the news, the main points again. Sierra Leone has observed World Rabies Day. The Anti-Corruption Commission has launched a report against the Ministries of Health and Sanitation and Agriculture salary double dipping. And the remains of referee Victor Mara have been laid to rest at the Kisi Road Cemetery. Well, that's all we have time for in this edition of News Hour. Thanks for your company. I'm Daphne Kimamakole.